Coming up on Sports Paws, the women's soccer team has two big weekend matchups as they look to stay undefeated heading into the back end of the season.
And the men's ice hockey team travels up to Orono for a top 10 matchup with the UMaine Black Bears in a weekend series.
And the women's ice hockey team looks to rebound in their first back-to-back of the season against the Syracuse Orange.
All that and more coming up on Sports Paws right now.
Welcome to another edition of Sports Paws. My name is Patrick Walsh.
And I'm Thomas Curtis. We got a big show tonight, starting off with the women's soccer team. They had a match on Wednesday against the Merrimack Warriors. The Bobcats looking to maintain a 9-game shutout win streak entering the day. Quinnipiac hadn't surrendered a goal since August 29th, just under 2 months to date. Early in the first half, Aisling Spillane rocketed up the sideline and juked into the middle. She went with her right foot to the bottom of the net, snuck past the keeper, and 1-0 Quinnipiac to start the scoring off. On the other end, Sofia Lospinoso beats a couple Warriors to the ball and keeps them out of the net to keep Merrimack off the board, still 1-0 Quinnipiac. And from then on, it was the Rachel Roman show. Courtney Chokel here is going to send a crosser across to Roman. It finds her right foot, and she goes up top off the crossbar to make it 2-0. That's her first goal, and it wouldn't be her last. The synergy between Roman and Chokel doesn't stop. Roman reads a perfect pass into the box, and Chokel taps it in for her. Roman taps it in for her second goal of the game. It's 4-0. In the final minutes, Roman gets a chance at the third goal on a penalty kick, and she sneaks it past Caitlin Brewy to secure her first NCAA hat trick. Quinnipiac wins it 5-0. That's 10 straight shutout wins for the Bobcats and their eighth MAC win of the season. Roman's big day powered the Bobcats' explosive showing and clinched Quinnipiac a spot in the MAC tournament for the 9th straight year.
With her 33rd career assist on the second goal from Wednesday's game, graduate forward Courtney Chokel now holds the program record. She passed former Bobcat Nicole Marshall, who held the record since 1999. Chokel currently is tied for the team lead with 6 assists alongside senior midfielder Ella Gagno and leads the team with 6 goals. The reigning MAC Golden Boot winner is also tied for 3rd in the conference after leading the MAC the past 2 seasons in the category.
Moving on to Saturday, the team traveled to Maryland to play Mount St. Mary's. The Mountaineers struck early, scoring 2 goals in the first half, snapping Quinnipiac's shutout streak. The first goal came in the 9th from Taylor Simmons and the next in the 27th minute by Kayla Pennington. Mount St. Mary's would hold on to the lead in the second thanks to 5 saves by goalkeeper Adelaide Paredes. The upset loss for the Bobcats is their first in MAC play since October 15th, 2022.
Despite the loss, senior midfielder Rachel Roman was named MAC Offensive Player of the Week Monday after her hat trick against Merrimack. She scored in the 28th, 48th, and 88th minutes for her first hat trick of her college career. Roman has 4 goals on the season, along with 5 assists on 21 shots, to total 13 points. The Glastonbury native is in her second season in Hamden after spending the first 2 seasons at Bryant University in Rhode Island.
Now let's take a look at the most recent MAC standings. Despite the loss, Quinnipiac still sits atop the conference at 8-1. They're followed by Canisius and Fairfield, who have also clinched playoff spots. Siena sits in 4th, and after that, it's Manhattan, Mount St. Mary's, Iona, Marist, Sacred Heart, and Merrimack, who are all jumbled together in the middle, fighting for a top 8 placement in the MAC playoffs. Niagara, Ryder, St. Peter's finish off the list. The Bobcats look to get back on track at Manhattan on Wednesday. Now let's go from the pitch to the ice.
Quinnipiac men's ice hockey took a trip to Maine to face a top 10 opponent. Number 7 Quinnipiac taking on the number 9 Maine Black Bears in Orono, starting game 1 on Friday. This would be first-year netminders Dylan Silverstein's first collegiate start in a hostile environment. Heading to the first period, Maine's Taylor McCarr sends a pass to Nolan Renwick, who speeds past Cooper Moore, and he sends the puck glove side to put the Black Bears in front, 1-0 Maine.
Later in the first, Harrison Scott of Maine gets a slow pass from a teammate. He spins to avoid a defender and fires on net. And Charlie Russell is there to put it past Silverstein, 2-0 Black Bears.
Let's head to the second. Bobcats on the power play. Davis Pennington to Tyler Bergula, who gets it past the Maine goalie for his first collegiate goal, and the Bobcats are back in the game. Maine's lead shrinks by 1, making it 2-1.
Let's head to the third. Charlie Letty is going to lose the puck in the defensive zone, and Sully Skoll is going to push it, but Silverstein makes a stick poke save. Another chance for Maine is going to go wide, and the Bobcats fend off Maine's attempts at sealing the game.
Seconds left. The Bobcats cannot generate any more offense. Quinnipiac drops their first game of the season. Silverstein starts his collegiate career with 27 saves and 2 goals against.
Maine's goaltender Albin Boya had 19 saves, only allowing 1 goal for Quinnipiac. Maine took the win.
The Bobcats looking for revenge after the loss last night. Monte Naranov will get the start for game 2. Let's get it started.
After 2 Maine goals in the first, Mason Marcellus is going to find Aaron Schwartz, who's going to one-time this one, and that's his first collegiate goal, if I'm not mistaken. Bobcats cut the Maine's lead down by 1.
After a Maine goal, Bergula and Anthony Cipollone go 2-on-1. Bergula baits his defender and sends the puck past Maine's goalie for the score. The lead is cut down to 3-2 for Maine. Next, Marcellus is going to get the puck in the offensive zone. He fires on net where Jack Ricketts tips it in, and the score is now 4-3.
Late in the period, the Bobcats crash the net, and it's going to be Captain Travis Treelor who stuffs it past the goalie for his first goal of the year. The Bobcats tie it at 4.
Let's head to the third period. Bobcats on attack again. Bergula finds fellow first-year Chris Pelosi, who fires, and he gets his first collegiate goal of his career. The Bobcats get their first lead of the weekend.
Last minute of play, Maine in desperation mode. Harrison Scott fires from the top, and his shot is deflected by Brandon Holt, who tips it in. We're tied at 5. Let's go to overtime.
David Brazil is going to have his initial shot blocked. He gets the puck back. He moves into the slot, and he fires it, and he gets the puck past Marinoff. Maine wins a thriller in Orono 6-5. Marinoff stops 35 out of 41 shots in a tough outing. The Bobcats will be back in Hamden on October 25th and 26th to take on the University of New Hampshire Wildcats. But two first career goals for Bergula and Pelosi in the game. Maine has emerged as a major non-conference rival for Quinnipiac in the past few seasons.
Q30's Zach Naffa was in Orono this weekend with the story.
College hockey in the Northeast is dominated by 2 conferences, ECAC Hockey and the Hockey East. While the Quinnipiac Bobcats have dominated their conference foes in recent years, the Hockey East has given them trouble, accounting for half of their 16 losses since the start of the 2022-23 season. The Maine Black Bears, who defeated the Bobcats 6-5 in overtime Saturday night, continued that trend, sweeping their weekend series with Quinnipiac for the first time since 2017.
Yeah, I mean, I think especially going down 5-4 after having a lead for majority of the game, I think it's a testament to our culture and the fact that we just don't want to quit. We're always going to go out there no matter what the score is and give our very best. We know we have it in this locker room, and we were able to go out there and scrap back to be able to win that in overtime. That's great. It's going to definitely help us coming up with the hockey play. We're looking forward to that.
The Black Bears took a 4-1 lead partway through the second period, but Quinnipiac would respond by scoring 4 unanswered goals. However, head coach Ben Barr's squad showed why they believe they are one of the best teams in the Hockey East, tying the game late in the third period and winning in overtime.
I mean, I think we believe that we can be the best team in the conference, and we've put in the work, and I think every year we've been striving to be better and better, and I think if we play to our potential, we can do a lot of good things.
We got a chance every single night. We go out there and we play our style of hockey. We got a chance to win. We focus on the process, and we try not to worry about the outcome too much, and trust that what we do in practice all week is going to help us perform throughout all of the hockey games.
While it may have been a non-conference matchup, Barr realizes how impactful this series can be for his team.
We have, maybe the best team over the last 5 years in college hockey at our rink with a tie game going to the third period to sweep a weekend. I think any of us would have been happy with that.
The Bobcats will face another Hockey East opponent when they host the UNH Wildcats in Hamden next weekend. Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Zach Naffa.
The latest men's USCHO poll was released today. The sweep against Maine cost the Bobcats dearly. They dropped all the way down to 11th in the national rankings. Denver, Boston College, Boston University, and Michigan State stayed put at 1 through 4, while Maine jumped all the way up to 6th in the nation after their big weekend. North Dakota slid to 7th after splitting with Minnesota State. Rounding out the top 10 is Cornell, Colorado College, Michigan, and Michigan. Quinnipiac will look to jump up in the rankings with a 2-game series against New Hampshire at home this weekend.
The Quinnipiac rugby team took on the Army Black Knights at home in a top 10 NIRA matchup. Number 3 Quinnipiac taking on the number 4 Army Black Knights in a top 5 matchup. We see here first year Layla Cox getting introduced. We may see more of her later. Heading to the first half, Army's Yasnia Morales on a breakaway, putting a Quinnipiac defender on skates as she gets into the try zone to give Army the early 7-0 lead. Later in the half, Army dribbles the ball towards the try zone. Cox is there to pick up the ball, but an Army defender comes over and slams her down. 25 minutes into the half, Army's Chloe De Leon weaves past a few Quinnipiac defender, and she slips into the try zone with ease. Army leads 14-0. Later, with Army, we get a penalty kick that goes wide. Even though there are no touchdowns in rugby, they would be down 14-0. In the second half, an Army missed pass leads to Cox picking up the ball, and she speeds past the entire Army, switching services like it's a Top Gun fighter jet. This call would be called back, however, due to a foul on the play. Later in the half, just a few feet away from the try, Lily Morris powers through the Army defense to get into the try zone. A misconversion makes this game 14-5. 60 minutes into the game, Fila Whelan kicks the ball ahead, where Cox passes a group of Black Knights to power into the try zone. After another misconversion, the score is set at 14-10. Time is ticking for the Bobcats, and they would fail to capitalize on their momentum as Army kicks the ball out of bounds to end the game. The Bobcats fall 14-10 for their first loss of the year. No risk for the Bobcats as they will have number 1 Dartmouth on Saturday.
Well, Patrick, it's time for our first commercial break of the night. But when we come back, the women's ice hockey team tried to squeeze past the Syracuse Orange in a 2-game homestand over the weekend.
Yeah, and the women's basketball beat staff will join the show to preview the upcoming season for Trisha Fabry's team and break down their new additions. So don't go anywhere because Sports Paws will be right back.
We are taught you don't talk about your problems with nobody because you could get in trouble. And I've been through a lot. Anxiety, depression, sexual assault. When I decided to get help, my life changed. In the mental health box, that was one of the big tools. Accepting help means that we are allowing somebody to bless our life. It's freeing. We got stronger together. Love your mind.
I don't remember how it started.
Go to that.
Our back and forth. It always came back. Dad! You probably don't remember what you told me,
That was perfect.
but I heard every word.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love. Love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
How much difference can one vote make? Since 2023, more than 60 U.S. elections have been tied or won by just one vote. So this fall, you or a friend could be the tiebreaker. And that could make all the difference. People are more likely to vote when encouraged by a friend. So use your power to decide this election. Make sure you're good to vote and encourage your friends to make a voting plan at votevotevote.com.
Welcome back to Sports Paws.
Keeping it on the ice, the women's hockey team took a trip to Providence, looking to keep their early season momentum going and pick up a season sweep. The Bobcats controlled the puck early before Kendall Cooper scored the first goal of the game with 30 seconds left in the first period. Junior forward Emerson Jarvis couldn't wait to double the lead in the second, giving only a little over a minute for the period to breathe before finding the back of the net. Providence cut into the deficit halfway through the second, and then in the third, Kiara Kraft and Sarah Davies boosted the Friars past Quinnipiac with a 3-2 win on their home ice. Despite the loss, the Bobcats had a quick turnaround before they hosted the Syracuse Orange for a weekend set. The last time the Bobcats and the Orange matched up was in the 2022 NCAA playoffs, where the Bobcats eliminated the Orange in a 4-0 shutout win. The Bobcats are able to set up a play in their first power play of the night. Kendall Cooper will find a wide-open Ainsley DeTavio who passes to Maddie Samoskevich in front, and the Bobcats will break the ice in the first game of the weekend, 1-0 Quinnipiac.
Later on in the first period, what a goal there by Samoskedic. Maya Labad comes racing in from the left. She'll backhand the puck 5-hole on Ali Kelly to make the game 2-0 Bobcats late in the period on the first goal by Labad.
Next play, a minute later, Tessa Holk breaks into the zone, then goes backhand to Lawrence Fournette, and she scores. Syracuse would go on to challenge this one for an offside, but the call on the ice will stand. 3-0 Bobcats after one period of play.
What a play there, backhand to backhand pass. On to the second period, Syracuse will get caught up in a line change, resulting in a 3-on-1 for the Bobcats entering the offensive zone. Defender Zoe Ewens decides to take the shot herself, going short side on Kelly. It's 4-0 Bobcats on the Ewens goal.
That's where the score will stay, as there was no scoring action in the third period. The Bobcats will take the first game 4-0 over the Orange. In the win, Felicia Frank records another shutout win in back-to-back starts for the Bobcats.
And the team would look to continue their weekend success in Game 2 against the Orange on Saturday. Starting in the second period, Zoe Ewens makes a costly turnover at center ice. Intercepted by Stella Costabile, who finds Riley McLeod, who perfectly places a shot down low far side on Kaylee Doyle to give Syracuse their first lead of the weekend. 1-0 Cuse on the McLeod goal.
From that point on, it would be all Maya Labad. A couple minutes later, Maddie Samoskevich finds Labad in front of the net, and she will backhand it in past former Bobcat Ali Kelly to tie this game up at 1.
Later on in the period, Bobcats on a power play. Michaela Watson goes cross ice for Labad, and she'll rip a shot top left above the blocker of Kelly. Bobcats go up 2-1 at the end of second period.
A great goal there. Now moving into the third, the Maya Labad show doesn't stop yet. She picks up a pass from Jenna Donahue along the far side. Labad puts one through the wickets here of Kelly and records her first career hat trick with that power play marker.
And Kaylin O'Marsh would tack on an empty netter to secure the win for the Bobcats as they sweep the Syracuse Orange. The Bobcats have now beaten the Orange the last 3 times the two teams have collided. PWHL alumni were in attendance at the women's ice hockey game on Saturday. Beat reporter Rose Carrata has a story from M&T Bank Arena.
Saturday's 4-1 win is a special game for the Quinnipiac women's ice hockey team on and off the ice. Quinnipiac alumni and PWHL players Zoe Boyd, Kelly Babstock, and Logan Andrews were in attendance.
It's just a special moment in women's hockey to see these PWHL players and what they're doing to lay the groundwork for players on our team to be able to play.
Quinnipiac alumni and Ottawa Charger goaltender Logan Andrews talks about the success and importance of the PWHL.
I think seeing how successful the PWHL last year was just like unbelievable. Like everyone always says like, oh, was this always your plan? And like, no, it couldn't have been. There was nothing for me to like kind of hope to play for professional hockey. So the fact that there is that opportunity and I'm getting to do it is just incredible.
Coach Cass Turner knows how important this day was for the program's alumni.
I can almost hear Kelly Babstock, even though I wasn't up there. I'm sure she had a lot of energy with those little kids. And, you know, seeing how long that line was, it makes sense because, you know, you have Logan, Zoe, and Kelly, like, they're just phenomenal humans. And to have those guys as role models, it means a lot. They care a lot about the future of our program. And, you know, it's once you're a part of this, you're always a part of this. And I think for them, that means an awful lot.
This day wasn't only important for the alumni, the Bobcats thrived off the presence of their former players as well.
And for us younger players too, like, I've never played with these players before, but I've always, like, watched them play or heard about different accomplishments they've had, and it's pretty cool to, like, see them be a part of the program and know that, like, Quinnipiac has had such a good impact on them.
Andrews gives advice to not only the Bobcats, but all young girls in sports.
Just having fun is the biggest thing. Like I think being able to have fun makes you be able to have so much more success and bring that compete to be able to, you know, enjoy what you're doing and get better at it. If you're not loving it, then you're never going to get better.
Reporting for Q30 Sports, I'm Rose Carrata.
In today's latest women's USCH poll, the Bobcats jumped from the 10th spot last week up to number 9. Wisconsin and Ohio State stayed put at 1 and 2, while Clarkson and Minnesota switched spots at 3 and 4. Minnesota Duluth held their ground at 5. Colgate moved up to 6 after a pair of wins, and St. Lawrence took number 7 after a pair of wins at Vermont. St. Cloud State came in at 8 and after tying Ohio State over the weekend, and Connecticut rounded out the top 10. Quinnipiac basketball season is around the corner with anticipation building for the start.
The women's basketball beat staff has a preview of what's in store for Trisha Fabry and the Bobcats this season.
Thanks, guys. The 23-24 Bobcats lost to the Niagara Purple Eagles in the MAC quarterfinals down in Atlantic City. Now this offseason, the Bobcats brought in 4 new first years and a transfer as well, and we're going to talk a little bit more about these right now.
First, let's get into Gal Raviv. She's from Israel. She's a point guard, and she has a lot of good facilitator capabilities, but she can also play the 2 if she needs to. She played at Bella Vista last year, averaging 10, 4, and 3, and scored 52 points in her 5 games.
Next player I have to talk about is Emma Lazat. She's a 6'3" forward from Stockholm, Maine. She's averaging 17.5 points a game, 10.3 rebounds, and 3 blocks a game. She's going to add some height to this team. This team's kind of shorter, so another person to step in to play that 5 spot with Anna Foley. Great addition to the team.
Now, I also have to talk about Reagan Sipla. She's a 6'1" first-year guard from Illinois, and she might need to make the switch over to the small forward just because of the crowded guard room, and she can provide valuable depth for this team and solid 3-point shooting. Now, she's a elite 3-and-D type player with an amazing 3-ball. She broke the record for the most 3-pointers in her school's history as a junior and also the school's single-season scoring record.
Last first year coming in is Gracie Gofflin. She's a 5'4" guard from Wisconsin. She averaged 9.4 points a game, 5.1 assists, and 3.8 rebounds, and 1.7 steals per game. She's not going to probably be that starter position for this team, but she's definitely going to come off the bench and make an impact for the team when they need it.
Now, it's a lot of production coming in for the first years for the Bobcats. Another transfer coming in, Coranda Pereira, transfer from Tulsa, going into her 4th team in her collegiate career. A lot of playing a lot of stretch 4 positions, reminded me a lot of Grace LaBarge. Now, that's all the newcomers for this Bobcat squad. Now we're going to send it up to Tony Wetmore at the M&T Bank Arena for the full depth chart for this upcoming season for the Bobcats.
Thanks, guys. I think the biggest question mark this year will be who will we see at point guard? Last year, we had Paige Girardi and Maria Keeley sliding in that position, but I think first-year Gal Raviv, with the stats we mentioned earlier, could have a shot at starting for the Bobcats. Jackie Grisdale at 2. She's coming back off injury. I think she'll be at full strength. At 3, I have Carson Martin or Grace LaBarge. Both had success in this position last season, and I think they could find it again. At 4, Ella O'Donnell, and 5, Anna Foley, with the first off the bench as Ava Seleni, who did great for the Bobcats when she had to step up last season. We'll see what Coach Fabry has in store.
Volleyball hit the road for a pair of games this weekend. Volleyball beat reporter Miranda Patorti has the recap.
Thanks, guys. The Quinnipiac volleyball team traveled to New York and found their first 2 conference road wins. They first faced off against the Marist Red Foxes on Saturday and beat them in 3 sets to 1. They dropped the second set, something they've struggled with all season so far. And then on Sunday, they traveled farther upstate to face off against the Siena Saints, which they swept in 3 straight sets. It was a close one, though. The first set went all the way to 29-27. Yammer Ganesh led the weekend in kills with 30. They'll travel back to New York State next weekend as they face off against Canisius on Saturday and Niagara on Sunday. That's all I have. Back to you guys at the desk.
The acrobatics and tumbling schedule has been released by the NCATA. The Bobcats begin the season on February 2nd with a meet against Morgan State before hitting the road with 4 straight away meets against Iona, LIU, St. Leo, and Limestone.
Quinnipiac finishes the season with home meets against the top-ranked Oregon Ducks and the AIC Yellow Jackets before ending the year on the road at Gannon on April 5th. Gannon was the national runner-up last year and beat Quinnipiac in the semifinals. The women's golf team finished second at the Lady Blue Hen Invitational in Delaware over the weekend. The Bobcats finished 18 over par behind champions Delaware, who finished 17 over.
Sophomore Samantha Gentini finished tied for 3rd individually, 3 under par, while Sophia Fahidi and Marissa Flores finished 9th and 15th respectively. Quinnipiac jumped from 5th to 2nd place on the final day as they shot a .284 in the final round.
It's unfortunately time to take our second commercial break of the night, but stick around for updates on the men's soccer team who returned home against Marist this weekend.
As well as what you've all been waiting for, the top 5 plays of the week. Sports Paws will be right back from the flip side.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing that keeps us focused. A habit we never skip to clear our minds and elevate our performance.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
to drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health. Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health. Discover the resources you need to keep your mind focused and your mental health a priority.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Multiple studies have shown that marijuana can slow both driver reaction and response time, which can be really dangerous. It's here. It's here. Wait. What? I can't drive. Why? My. Oh.
Welcome back to Sports Paws.
The cross-country team went up against some of the best squads in the country this weekend. Cross-country correspondent Spencer Decker has the latest.
Both the men's and women's cross-country teams were back in action this weekend, both in separate events. First, for the men's side, they raced at the ECAC/IC4A Championships out in the Bronx. Team finished 21st out of 24 competing teams. Top runner Alex Saldana in his first year continues to impress. 79th place with a time of 25:56, just a little bit off his personal best. Right behind him was Slayton Von Stetten with a 26:50. The women's cross-country team were back at the national level this weekend. They were in Madison, Wisconsin, home of the Wisconsin Badgers, facing off at the XC24 pre-national meet. Now, the Bobcats raced in the B race, but in terms of the team, they did pretty well. 11th out of 29 competing teams. Sierra Gray, a junior, finishing 38th with a 21:26. That's all I got for cross-country. The women's team will be back in action next weekend at the CCSU mini-meet, but for the men's team, their next test is the MAC Championships in Montgomery, New York on November 2nd. I'm Spencer Decker reporting for Q30 Sports.
Returning to the pitch, the Quinnipiac men's soccer team hosted Marist on Saturday for their third MAC game of the season. The Red Foxes defense pitched a shutout using 2 goals from Nicolas Sanchez and Chris Verhul to pick up their second conference win of 2024. The Bobcats put 5 shots on goal but couldn't sneak any past Marist keeper Jamie Lowell. They can get the second game in a row without a goal for Quinnipiac. They'll look to halt that streak on Wednesday when they travel to Manhattan next week.
3 Bobcats playing in the ITA regionals at Harvard were eliminated Saturday. Daniel Valek was defeated in straight sets to Krish Gupta of Yale, while the doubles pair of Yasha Laskin and Carl Soholm lost to Dylan Breen and Oscar Martinez of Siena. This wraps up the fall's tennis schedule, and the Bobcats will have to hibernate until spring to compete again.
The Quinnipiac field hockey team took on Liberty on the road this weekend, looking for their first Big East win, but the Bobcats lost to the Flames in blowout fashion, 9-0. 6 different Flames scored in the win, and junior Lou Kumbrick scored a hat trick. The loss is Quinnipiac's 9th straight, and the team tumbles to 2-13 on the season.
The men's basketball team has announced 2 staffing changes today. Jeff Robinson was promoted to the role of assistant coach, and Nolan Meehan was brought on as the team's new director of player operations.
Robinson has been with the program as the director of operations since 2022. He's also got previous coaching experience at Division II Assumption as well as Division III level with WPI.
Meehan has been with the program as a grad assistant for 2 seasons. He's also previously coached at Division III Western Connecticut State. So, Thomas, we've had 4 highlights tonight, but there's one more left. Do you know what that is?
Well, Patty, put that 5th finger up because it's time for top 5 plays of the week.
Starting with play number 5, hitting the ice in Orono. Travis Treeler picks up a loose puck and puts it through the 5-hole, tying the game up for the Bobcats. More from this game in a little bit.
On to play 4, to the rugby pitch we go. Layla Cox picks up the loose ball. Let's speed this one up. Put on the Jets, Layla. She will take it all the way into the try zone, but the Bobcats would drop this one to Army, 14-10.
Play 3 back in Orono. The first-year connection between Tyler Borgula and Chris Pelosi. Pelosi sneaks one in for his first goal in his young college career. The Bobcats would lose this one in overtime.
Staying on the ice for play 2 back in Hamden, Maya Labad dekes through 2 defenders and puts the puck through the wickets of Allie Kelly. She would record her first hat trick in the win.
For play number 1, going to the soccer pitch, Rachel Roman, 3 defenders in her way. She doesn't care. Taking another look. She goes bar down on the 2-touch play. She would win Player of the Week from her performance in that game, a 5-0 win for the Bobcats. That's all we have tonight on Sports Paws. Be sure to stay up to date on all things Quinnipiac sports by following Q30 Sports on X and Instagram, and tune into our shows at q30.com/watch. Also tune into Bobcat Game Day Friday night for full coverage as men's ice hockey takes on New Hampshire.
We'd also like to thank all the producers and those working hard behind the scenes. For Patrick Walsh, I'm Thomas Curtis signing off from Studio 125. Good night.